president of the Ontario Landowners Association. We've heard him speak many times before, but he's got lots of exciting news since the last time we've heard from him. So, Tom Black.
Excellent.
Well, hi everybody. I may not last very long. My voice has been gone for about a month, and without a mic I may not be very well heard. But how many folks here were at our International Property Rights Conference? Five? Yeah?
I got it.
Yeah.
Excellent, by the way.
There's more than there. Well, thank you. Yeah, we thought we had a pretty good day that day, and the next day as well. There was almost 200 people there. And we created the International Property Rights Association out of that meeting, which was people from the United States and from Australia and Canada. So that is in the process of getting a set of rules put together for that association, and we hope to be able to bring you that story later on with more details. There is DVDs here of the whole meeting if anybody wants to buy them. They're $20 for the whole day. And they're available. My wife has them there if anybody wants them. There's so many stories floating around here this morning, it's hard to get into one that's not already being told. But I was really proud of Jack going ahead and having a 40-to-1 vote. I thought that was a statement in itself. And I think that we all should be very proud of him for that one. For sure. On John Surge's case, with the sign bylaws, and I know that he's fought them with the government regs and in the courts and all that stuff, but it's really a matter of property rights when you get right down to it. Yep. It's his private property. What you do on that property is really yours and yours alone. Here, here. And, there should never be an infringement of that. And whenever Patrick was talking about putting property rights in the Constitution, I have to have a long chat with him. We chatted earlier here, but we have to get it a little bit better understood. We do have property rights in Canada, and it is not in the Constitution. It is in the very words of our original mandate from the Magna Carta and through the British North America Act. It's contained in the preamble of that. And the problem with putting it in the Constitution, and I don't want to get bogged down with this, but the problem with putting it in the Constitution is the United States has it in the Constitution in two places, yet they're losing their property rights faster than we are. And the problem with putting it in the Constitution is once you put it in the Constitution, man can then change it. Government can change your rights once you put it in the Constitution written down. The way it is in our country and in the original documents from England, it is an inalienable right. And it comes from God, not from man. You were born with the right to life, liberty, and freedom of speech, and the ownership of property. And if you take that and then try and make it property rights in the Constitution, lawyers love it because they can then quote from it. But politicians love it because they can then chip away at it and take away those rights, just like John Surge happened with him, with our new charter that says, notwithstanding the fact that we broke your rights, took away your rights, you don't have any. Sorry, it really comes down to that. So it's something we need to expand on and make sure people understand what we're talking about when we say property rights in the Constitution. It's really important, from our opinion now, after a lot of research, that we don't put it in there, but we have to have the politicians, the judges, and the lawyers recognize it. It has to be brought in from the bottom end up, where we demand that they recognize our property rights. It's in the patent grants. It's written in the patent grants, and anybody that owns property, it is there in their original deeds. That's not to say that they won't abuse it. And just like they say it's against the law to rob banks, people do it every day. So it doesn't mean they won't abuse it. And it doesn't mean that people like the conservation authorities won't come onto your property and say we can come onto your property anytime we want. That's what they say. Now, they found out the hard way that that's not true. The OSPCA, the Ontario Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, has been beaten quite a few times in court now after telling people they could come on their property at will, and they can't. The judges nailed them on that one pretty good. So there's no difference in them and a policeman. A policeman cannot come on your property without a warrant or your permission. You can come to the door and knock. If the gate is open, if the gate is closed, he has to call you. Can't come in the gate unless it's an emergency situation where he's in hot pursuit or he can visually see a crime that's happening. So bylaws are not a criminal code crime. Bylaws are not a criminal code crime. That's the only one that can get them warrants and stuff to come in on you is criminal code stuff. So don't let them take away your property rights by insinuating they have the power, because they don't have the power. Where else are they going? Hey? Yeah, I don't do that yet. Oh yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about a court case we have going on right now with the Ministry of Natural Resources. And did you know that if you gave a rock to your neighbor to put on his lawn, they could fine you?
What? Sure, you have to get money for it, don't you, Tom?
Nope. Nope, you don't get money. No. If you gave a rock from your backyard or from your field to your neighbor, and he transported it over and put it on his property, they can fine you for that because you don't have an aggregate permit. True. And we got a case in court right now. It's been there for over a year. And the farmer had a bit of a cliff behind his barn, and the rocks used to break off and roll down onto his field. And the landscaper came in and asked him if he could buy some of the rocks off him to put on people's lawns for decorations. And I said, yeah, it'd be great. Somebody would take those rocks away. And so they made a deal. And M&R rolled in and charged the farmer with selling rocks without an aggregate permit.
Oh, come on. Yes.
Who would make that happen? Like, who would say, I want this person charged of that?
Bureaucracy.
I expect the quarries that were competing against the farmer
right.
for the rocks. I'm not sure of that, but obviously somebody.
Makes
But
sense.
it's always
start.
it's always somebody like that.
So
Right?
what was his fine?
Well, it's interesting because as they went along, they charged them with selling rocks without an aggregate permit, and they got to the first day in the front of the court, and the farmer pulled out his land patent grant and said, "My rocks. I don't see anything on my patent grant that says I can't do anything I want with them. It says I can do anything I want with them." And at which point in time they said, well, I guess we'll charge the landscaper with transporting them without a license. So that's who they're charging now. But it's still in court.
Sounds like a petty cash grab.
Well, and you know the JP, the Justice of the Peace, asked the Crown Attorney, he said, so if I stopped on the road and picked up a rock and put it in my trunk, took it home to my garden, you could charge me for transporting aggregate without a permit? He said, yes, we'd charge you.
That's madness. That's a madness.
Now, the JP, I hope we get the same one right through on this one, because she's pretty fed up with them, but they're still going ahead with that. And here's
That's an Ontario thing?
yeah, it's Muskoka.
Just Ontario.
Muskoka, yeah. Well, you know, they didn't challenge the patent grant, but here's the thing, a Crown Attorney swears an oath to the Crown, and that means he is not allowed to tarnish the words of the Crown, which is the Crown patent grant is signed by the sovereign or the Crown's representative. So there's a conflict for Crown attorneys to go up against the patent grant, and we had that happen in PEI. We had an old Scotsman down there that decided he was going to challenge the fisheries of whether he could go out and fish without a permit or not. And he was laying lobster traps, and on his patent grant it said he had the lands and the fisheries. And so he called up the Department of Fisheries and Ocean and said, I'm going out to set my lobster traps and come and arrest me, you know. And they came, And so he went out and picked up the traps, and they came back in and they arrested him. And when it went to court, the Crown attorney refused to prosecute him and walked away from him. And we believe it's because of that exact oath to the Crown that he was in conflict, because he is then challenging a Crown document and tarnishing its value. So these things are all in the air. I know people will hear both sides of that story and say the Crown patent grants are worth nothing. Beth was talking about them earlier. Everything in this country is created with a letters patent. There's no institution that doesn't have a letters patent. Even every cooperative co-op of people has a letters patent that's created. So you have a letters patent signed. That's the only method we have of doing this stuff. Yeah.
Doesn't that particularly guard people that have cottages, so someone can't go in and start digging, looking for minerals or whatever? Doesn't that protect your land from that?
It does. If you have, depends on the mineral rights. The mining, depending on when your patent was granted. The mines, Mineral Mines Act, I've forgotten the name of that act. When it was created, if it was created before your grant, then it overruled your grant. And they changed that now, so they can't do that anymore, just as of about 4 years ago.
They just can't go in and start
They
digging
can't
in
go in,
your cottage property.
because at one time we were going to do that, you know. Randy Hillier and us had a great idea one time. We were going to go in and set up a mine in McGinty's yard in Ottawa.
Oh,
Yeah, in mine you'd find envelopes of cash.
We're going to stake it and start digging. We'd probably be in jail now, right? Anyways, that was probably not a good idea. It was one of our bad ones. But anyways, we didn't do it. So, but anyways, yeah. So those things are in the works. The Mining Act has been revamped, so they can't do that anymore. That was partly because of the natives holding them up for ransom of the uranium mines. They put a bit of pressure on them to change that.
well, that was a good thing.
It was a good thing.
Yeah.
It was absolutely stupid the way it was.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we don't need mining. We do need mining, but it means that the people that own the land should probably profit from it instead of the guy walking in off the street. I was going somewhere with that, and I forgot where it was now. Any questions on any of that stuff? I got you all confused now.